What's up, y'all? This is Jonathan Lippy, Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com, and today is Chapter 3 of our series of narrations on Machetes Dipped in Rum. The title of this chapter, The Crossroads. It will be narrated by the Cecil West AI. Chapter 3, The Crossroads.
On March 26, 1995, nearly 4 months to the day before the release of E1999 Eternal, Eric Eazy-E Wright passed away as a result of complications from HIV. Despite conspiracy theories from many within the hip-hop community, including Bone and B.G. Knocc Out, Wright faced the topic head-on in his final statement to fans, endearing a softer and introspective side missing from his largest successes. Just remember, it's your real time and your real life. Eazy-E. Diagnosed only nearly 1 month to the day prior in February 1995, the young life of Eric Wright was felled by what he deemed, maybe, success was too good to me. Eazy-E used to roll his weed up in licorice papers and stuff them around the brim of his hat, and he kept his money right here in his left sock. When he left, it was the hat and the sock. Layzie. Claiming 7 children from 6 different women, Wright nonetheless missed out on his most successful protégés in his varied and successful catalog of mined talent, despite remaining as executive producer of the project. In May 1995, the film Panther and Certified Gold soundtrack were released, featuring Bone on the second single The Points, amongst 11 other rap acts, including Brooklyn, New York legend, 4-time Grammy nominee Christopher the Notorious B.I.G., Wallace and Compton, California native, 6-time Grammy nominee artist Coolio Ivy Jr. Panther was about the only soundtrack that we actually sat down and wrote it for the movie. Everything else was just like we was just in the creative process. Busy. In July 1995, E1999 Eternal, the 23rd highest-selling hip-hop album of all time, arrived on the hip-hop and music scene as a near-entirely fresh perspective and projection. 5 young rappers who harmonized and sang despite often gruesome and violent lyrical content. The artwork, design, and layout design for E1999 Eternal was handled by Los Angeles, California-based Julio Costanzo, former Motown Records employee and head of design for Ruthless Records. Costanzo was responsible for the art and design of several future Bone Thugs and Harmony-related projects on Ruthless, as well as E1999 Eternal. My claim to fame was designing Eazy-E's last album, as well as all the Bone Thugs and Harmony albums. Julio Costanzo. An affinity for death and marijuana, Bone conceptualized one of the tightest and most creative hip-hop albums in the last 20 years. A unified and singular vision. The cohesiveness came in part from the entire project being co-produced by Los Angeles, California native Anthony Tony C. Cowan, Hollywood, California-based Kenny McLeod and DJ Unique. But it was the actual content which shined, a truly unique and fully realized approach, from the cover art and inlet layout to the lyrics and harmonizing. When Crazy got out of jail, we was wild. He came home, and he told us this new style that he had. He was basically putting syllables together and making them go rapidly. Cab Calloway was one of the first artists to flip his tongue, but it wasn't any words to it. So, when he came home, he put it down, and gradually everybody picked it up. I already had the singing thing down. It just blew up from there, and we meshed it all together, and Lay came with the street appeal and the thugness. Wish came in with it, and Stack was the school head, so he was constantly like, "You guys gotta write." Busy. The very first single was the Certified Gold First of the Month, which discussed the benefits of welfare checks used to amass grub on the grill and a bag of dope and a $0.25. The single immediately became a hip-hop classic and part of pop culture lexicon and reference point. The Grammy-winning album Roll with the New from Andrews, South Carolina-born comedian Chris Rock referenced the track on his infamous and career-defining routine versus Black People in April 1997. Rock also sampled the Crossroads for his skit press conference, a routine he created with inspiration partly from Us, an Ice Cube track off his October 1991 album, Death Certificate. Harlem, New York-based group The Diplomats created the first from their March 2003 certified gold double-disc debut, Cam'ron Presents. Diplomatic Immunity in homage to the original. Detroit, Michigan, native Brandon Major Green recreated the track for his March 2011 mixtape Throwback and later named his record label imprint First of the Month. I ain't even gonna lie, this is my first tape I ever bought. Bone Thugs. Major. Compton, California native and two-time Grammy nominee Jayceon Game Taylor sampled the track and featured Bone on the remix version of Celebration from his fifth studio album Jesus Piece, released in December 2012. Taylor previously sampled For the Love of Money on his track Slangin' Rocks from his The Red Room mixtape in April 2010. Brooklyn, New York-born Rory. Harry Fraud Quigley released his first solo mixtape, Adrift, in March 2013, which contained the Houston, Texas native Frazier, Trey the Truth Thompson, and Rabat, Morocco-born Kareem, French Montana, Carbouche collaborative track, Wake Up. The re-released version of the video game Grand Theft Auto V featured the track in November 2014 as part of the West Coast Classics radio station, cultivated by Los Angeles, California legend Mark DJ Pooh Jordan. While the game was one of the most decorated of the year and part of the highest-selling and most awarded series in video game history. August 1995 saw Bone Thugs land their first of several major cover feature stories when they graced the Source magazine, co-founded by Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, native Jonathan Shecky Green Schechter, under the byline, The Apocalypse Generation? Also in 1995, the second annual The Source Hip Hop Music Awards were held at Madison Square Garden's Paramount Theater in New York City, New York. The night was historic for several reasons, including the Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony for Eazy-E and the Bone medley performance of Thuggish Ruggish Bone, For the Love of Money, and First of the Month, which followed, but ultimately would be remembered as the catalyst for the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop beef, which lasted several years. Reports of Death Row Records artists shouting "No love for hoes in harmony" during the Bone performance were overshadowed by the deliberate verbal attacks lobbed by both Compton, California native Marion Suge Knight Jr., and Harlem, New York-born Sean Puff Daddy Combs. The awards ceremony would not happen again until August 2000. As a result of the tension between Ruthless and Death Row, the members of Bone felt it necessary to defend Ruthless with their full-length debut. From the track Mo Murda, Follow Me, Stroll Down East 99, Gotta Find These Row Hoes, Crazy, on Shots to the Double Glock, the only album track which featured outside artists, Cleveland, Ohio natives, Poetic Hustlers, and Graveyard Shift members Aaron Gates Baldwin and Paul Tombstone O'Neill. More shots were fired at Death Row, specifically the Dog Pound, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania-born Ricardo Corrupt Brown, and Long Beach, California native Delmar, Daz Dillinger, Arno. So off we go, to the Bloody Row, time to bless some souls, with that 9-shot, giving props to the double Glock. Tombstone. In a cut where the thugs and hustlers roam, Cleveland Browns, Dog Pound Hoes, it's on. Layzie. To finish August 1995, Bone contributed to the certified platinum soundtrack for the show documentary, Everyday Thang, which shared the name of their Faces of Death track but original for the soundtrack, was co-produced by Unique and Tony C. In October 1995, the Dog Pound released their certified double platinum debut Dog Food on Death Row Records. From Dog Pound Gangstaz, the first song on the album, which also featured Long Beach, California legend Calvin Snoop Dogg Broadus Jr. on the outro. Ain't no harming me, ain't got no love for no hoes in harmony. Corrupt. Despite the traded barbs, Corrupt and Bone became friends and collaborators over the years, with some assistance from Bronx, New York native and Nation of Islam leader, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The minister, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, called a meeting, and Corrupt came at me like, "Man, that was some bullshit." And I was like, "Yeah, man, whatever, man, you good, I'm good." These dudes are my best friends now. I call Corrupt anytime I need him. Busy. With over 5 million copies sold domestically and over 10 million copies sold worldwide, E1999 Eternal received critical acclaim as well, 3 Grammy nominations and 1 Grammy win. Although First of the Month lost Best Rap Performance by a duo or group to Bronx, New York native Mary J. Blige and Hempstead, New York native Clifford, Method Man Smith, I'll Be There For You, You're All I Need to Get By, and E1999. Eternal lost the inaugural Best Rap Album nomination to East Orange, New Jersey trio Naughty by Nature, Poverty's Paradise. At the 38th Annual Grammy Awards, the group would shatter all expectations with the album's third single, The Crossroads. Originally entitled Crossroad and dedicated to Wallace Wally Laird III, the subsequent death of Eazy-E motivated Bone to remake the song into The Crossroads, which earned double platinum certification and a Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance by a duo or group at the 39th Annual Grammy Awards. Wally was like the first security guard that I ever had, but he was really my best friend. We always was Mo Thugs, we always was Bone, and we always was brothers. Like even when we was selling dope back in the day, we was brothers. We had our little operation and all that at 14, 15 years old trying to be somebody. Layzie. In the original Crossroad, a busy verse shed light on Kermit Henderson, Wally Laird III, and Looney Lynn Scruggs. When I heard the word at Kerms, Shorty said, "Oh my Lord," laying on the curb on 123rd, bled dead to the world, how bad. And what about Looney now? Damn, she gonna act a fool, out of the blue, she knew what happened to Wally, she lost her cool. Their best-selling single in group history. The Crossroads was dedicated to the memory of Eric Wright. The video featured his likeness amongst other fallen loved ones, the aforementioned Laird III, the Graveyard Shift original member John Boo Moore, Layzie Bone's deceased infant son, Angel Baby Boy, who passed at a mere 6 weeks old in 1997 from lung complications, and Wishbone's Uncle Charles. Uncle Charles was my mother's brother. He had retired, but he'd worked for Ford, so he had a little bit of change. He was real fly. He'd get up every day and put on a suit. He drove Lincolns and Cadillacs. He was the uncle who'd come around and take us to the movies. Everybody got $5. But he was also the one that was really behind us in our music career because that's what he wanted to do too. He used to listen to our little mixtapes we'd bring home, just encourage us. All our talent shows, he'd be in the front row. Every one. Wish Boo was a member of the Graveyard Shift with Tombstone. Both would ultimately be murdered. Boo in a drive-by shooting in October 1994 as he shielded his nephew. Tombstone was shot in August 1997. Meanwhile, the liner notes for Creepin' on a Come Up dedicated the EP to the memory of Laird III. My first real group? I had a rap group with one of my younger sisters, April, and a next-door neighbor named Boo, who happens to be one of the people we mentioned in Crossroads. Crazy. Despite the absence of Flesh, The Crossroads was the group's sole #1 hit for the U.S. Billboard, Hot 100, Hot R&B hip-hop singles and tracks, and Hot Rap singles. #1 on the UK singles chart, as well as #1 on the New Zealand singles chart, a country in which the song was certified platinum. The Crossroads is one of the best singles that I've ever heard in rap music. Jerry Heller. The music video for The Crossroads, directed by Michael Martin, garnered 5 MTV Video Awards nominations in September 1996. Best Special Effects, Viewer's Choice, Best Rap Video, Best Group Video, and Video of the Year. While they did not win a single award, they did perform their smash single as part of the main show. The video opened up with the Mo Thugs Family R&B trio Trey, Kimberly Cromartie, Rebecca Forsha, and Manico Williams' sister to Shatasha, singing the hymn Mary Don't You Weep in a church funeral setting, and featured representations of fallen loved ones. Michael Martin is a legendary video director. That was dope. Steve Lobel. The award ceremony also marked East Harlem, New York-born legend Tupac 2PAC Shakur's final public appearance before being murdered in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, Nevada 3 days later on September 7th, 1996. We saw him coming out the hotel one day, and this was just when he just got out. We saw him coming out the hotel and he was like, "What's up with y'all? Man, I just want to let y'all know that the Crossroads, I played that every day I woke up in my cell. That's what got me through listening to the Crossroads, the original version. After that, we asked him for some weed. After that, we was friends. Crazy." Similar to First of the Month, Bone saw numerous peers either sample or interpolate the Crossroads, most typically the busy line, "And I'm Gonna Miss Everybody." The supergroup LSG, which included Cleveland, Ohio native Gerald Levert, released their certified double platinum debut, Levert. Sweat. Gill in November 1997, fueled by the #1 Billboard Hot R&B single My Body. The March 1998 remix featured Portsmouth, Virginia native Melissa Missy Elliott, and flipped the line into an R&B hook. So Amazin', the third album from Jersey City, New Jersey-born Christina Milian, released in May 2006 and nominated for Best Contemporary R&B Album at the 47th Annual Grammy Awards, featured the track Gonna Tell Everybody and flipped the same line. The film Pineapple Express and soundtrack featured the song in August 2008. Atlanta, Georgia-born Grammy winner Sean Garrett. Hamler released his mixtape The Inkwell in August 2010 and used the same line on Feel Love featuring Toronto, Canada native and fellow Grammy winner Aubrey Drake Graham. Berkeley, California legend Brandon Lil B. McCartney used the instrumental for Bass on Me, one of the many tracks from his 848 song-based freestyle mixtape, Historical, in July 2012. McCartney also sampled Thuggish Ruggish Bone on 2 different tracks, Twomp Sack God and Dun Roy, and sampled For the Love of Money on his money-based freestyle. Comedy duo. Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele spoofed the song and Bone Thugs in general with their skit Bone Thugs and Homeless in October 2012 during the second season of their Peabody Award-winning Key and Peele on Comedy Central. It don't ever get old. It's a classic, and classics never get old. It's the simple fact that in time, everyone is going to always experience death or loss in their life, and it's going to be played at a funeral. Plus, it sounds good, and it's a heal-the-heart song. It can never get old. Layzie. In January 1996, the group was nominated for Favorite Rap Hip-Hop Artist at the 23rd Annual American Music Awards and ultimately lost to Coolio off the strength of his certified double platinum Gangsta's Paradise and the Grammy-winning title track. In February 1996, Bone lost the aforementioned inaugural Best Rap Album nomination to Naughty by Nature at the 38th Annual Grammy Awards at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, California. March 1996 saw Bone Thugs release the certified platinum Family Scriptures, the first under their Mo Thugs Records. The compilation featured production from Queens, New York native, and Grammy winner Romeo Antonio, and vocals from Trey on several cuts, including Here With Me and Take Your Time with Crazy. I had built Mo Thugs for Bone Thugs and Harmony. That company was for the whole group. Layzie. In April 1996, Bone contributed Shoot 'Em Up to the soundtrack for The Great White Hype. Unique additionally contributed Movin' On with Compton, California rapper Nightowl. In May 1996, Layzie, Crazy, Busy, and Wish obtained another magazine cover first. Vibe, founded in 1993 by Chicago, Illinois legend Quincy Jones, featured the quartet in an exclusive article entitled Ohio Playas at the Crossroads. In August 1996, Queens, New York native, longtime group manager, and hip-hop business legend Steve Lobel arranged for Flesh to be featured on the Los Angeles, California native Montel Jordan's song Falling from his second album, The Certified Gold More. The second of 3 singles released off the album, Falling was the most successful of the trio and was also certified gold. That helped Flesh too, because that record was big. Steve Lobel. In September 1996, Bone made another soundtrack contribution, their certified gold single Days of Our Lives for the Set It Off soundtrack. The film was New Line Cinema Studios' highest-grossing film of the year, while the soundtrack was certified platinum 2 months later. New York City, New York native F. Gary Gray received the inaugural Best Director Award for Set It Off at the American Black Film Festival in June 1997. All those songs were supposed to be on E! 1999, but the soundtrack opportunities came along and we just threw them on there. Crazy. In October 1996, Crazy appeared on the track Let's All Get High off the second album by Joliet, Illinois-born 2-time Grammy nominee Shantae DeBrat Harris, the certified gold Another Tantrum. Her June 1994 debut Funk Day Feed made her the first female rapper to have a certified platinum album. In November 1996, Flesh N released the certified platinum THUGS, True's Humbly United Gatherin' Souls, his solo debut, as well as the first Bone solo album, through Def Jam Records and Mo Thugs Records. I was the first member of this brand to have a successful solo career, a record that's past platinum. It registered gold the first week and then it went platinum. If it wasn't for Flesh and Bone, there would be no Bone Thugs and Harmony, first of all. People don't understand that. Flesh and Bone. The internal distrust combined with the obvious talent and potential of Bone Thugs allowed Flesh N to secure a deal independent from Ruthless while still collaborating with the group whenever appropriate. It was the first solo album because Flesh wasn't signed to Bone, he was signed to Def Jam. Chris Lighty, Lear Cohen, Russell Simmons wanted a piece of Bone but they couldn't get him, so they signed Flesh. Flesh at that time, he was going through a lot of things. Flesh was never in Bone, so to speak. He never signed, but he's part of Bone. He's the fifth dog. That album was a classic. Steve Lobel. The debut contained production from Beverly Hills, California native Damon Elliott, Tony C, Crazy, and Rhythm D, as well as verses from B.G. Knocc Out and Queens, New York native and co-founding member of Run DMC, Joseph Rev Run Simmons, younger brother to Russell. Also featured on the album, Bronx, New York natives Joseph Fat Joe Cartagena and Christopher Big Pun Rios. He actually wrote the hook, but I didn't even know who Pun was until he spit his lyrics. A lot of people don't know that he actually got his industry debut on my solo album, Flesh and Bone. The cultural and commercial prestige of Bone Thugs would soon be in demand, and 1997 found the group involved in several more historical records. Forced to balance the success of E! 1999 Eternal with the tragedy of losing Eazy-E, their remedy was simple: keep working. Fresh off THUGS, the group continued their impact with their most influential year in their 20-plus year career. In January 1997, the group was again nominated for Favorite Rap Chair Hip Hop Artist at the 24th Annual American Music Awards. Along with Coolio, they lost to Tupac, who was released from prison in October 1995 and went on to record the first double album in hip-hop history, the certified diamond All Eyes on Me, which reached #1 on both Billboard 200 and Top R&B Hip-Hop Albums charts. In February 1997, the aforementioned 39th Annual Grammy Awards took place at Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York. While Bone and The Crossroads took home the Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group Award, the Greater London, England native Phil Collins notably took home the Musicare's Person of the Year Award. On March 7, 1997, the 11th Annual Soul Train Awards were held at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, California. Bone Thugs and Crossroads won the Best R&B, Soul, or Rap Music Video Award, renamed the Michael Jackson Award, as Layzie and Crazy accepted on behalf of the group. All the accolades, I love that. There's love, and the acknowledgement feels good. But the acknowledgement don't mean nothing if your family can't look at you and feel that you've made a difference in their life. Layzie. The award ceremony also marked the final performance from one of music's most gifted young artists.
And that wraps up Chapter 3, The Crossroads. We will see you next time for Chapter 4, Notorious Thugs. Thanks for tuning in.
Beyond the